Hey you guys, I thought I would come and do a sort of mini overall update, grief update, update on my headaches, update on what's going on with my bladder, because there's been some kind of advances in all of those areas, if you like. So, grief diary, firstly. Grief diary, it's not such a diary, but where am I at with that? So it's now been 6 months since my dad passed, and I would say at this point I'm mostly just getting on with life, but think about him still every single day. And I think what I have learnt from all you guys since this happened is that that part never goes away. You know, you think of him constantly. And I am noticing now that I can, not for very long, but I can have a conversation about him. Like I said something to my husband just we were talking about garlic actually, and he was saying, well, your dad does like garlic, he just thinks he doesn't like garlic. And then he said, he was talking in the past tense, and I said, you can't decide whether to talk about him in the present or the past, can you? And he said, I don't know what's the right thing to do. And he said, I'm not really used to him not being here. And I was saying to him, no, I'm not either. We had that conversation, but then I could feel myself getting upset. So it was like, right, let's move on and talk about something else. But there's a glimmer of hope in that I can speak about him and sort of smile and not be a complete wreck. Even though, like I said, it's only a short conversation. I can't allow myself to think about things too much. I had that episode that I think I told you about, that I went into Asda's and saw that they sold the faggots that my dad liked, and that I was just sobbing all the way around Asda, and my whole day was just awful. You know, that's what I felt like. It just hit me again. It had just happened, and it wasn't very nice. So what I was discussing with Kev yesterday was, I don't think you can say normal. The word normal should just be like taken away from grief, because everybody's way of grieving is normal. Excuse me. But I was asking him if it was unhealthy, the fact that I can't look at any photos of Dad at all at the moment. So I'd be interested to know if any of you did experience it that way, because I feel a bit mean. Because I did nothing but look at photos for the first couple of weeks. You know, you saw I put a lot of photos of Dad up on Instagram. The one thing I took from the flat when it actually happened, the first thing I took, and I was hugging it as I was talking to the policeman, you know, when you give your statement and whatnot, or tell them what happened, was a picture of me actually in a frame, but it says Daddy's Girl. It's something I had bought him. I've now put that in my bureau, but I've put it face down, and it's been face down for quite a few months now, and his ashes are still in the cupboard, but I've bought a new urn, a mini urn to put them in, a small amount in that little urn, and then I think I'd like to scatter the ashes, but I'm still not ready for that. But if any photos come up, which they do constantly on Facebook, like, you know, it will say, why don't you, I don't know whether he's not coming up as a suggested friend, because he's obviously still my friend, but he's appearing there, and I'm like, you know, take that photo away. I wanted something to represent Dad on the Christmas tree, and so I'd ordered a Christmas bauble with his face, with his picture on it, and it arrived, and I was just like, no, there's no way I can have that hanging on the tree, absolutely no way. So at the moment I can't look at any photos of him, and like I said, it feels a bit mean. I feel like, I'm sorry Dad that I can't do that. It's too upsetting for me. And what I was talking to Kev about was, is it unhealthy? Because a lot of you have said that with grief you cannot go around it, under it, over it, you have to go through it, and I totally agree, but I think that needs to be quite, not controlled, but it needs to be organic. Yeah, maybe controlled, because if, like, I could spend every single day, I could take out a photo of Dad now, or an email that he's, oh my god, emails, I bet you have got the email, a couple of emails where he said, "Say long, Silver Girl." See what I mean? I could take them out and I could read them, and I could cry my eyes out on a daily basis all day long, because once I get upset about it, it lasts all day. And as I said to you guys, I don't think it will do anybody any good if I just lay in my bed crying all day every day, and I could easily do that. So I think there's got to be a balance between respecting your grief and allowing yourself to grieve, and living life, you know, and living for the life you have. And I know Dad would want that. You know, he wouldn't want me to be upset every day. He would want me to be jolly, and for there to be a piece of him here, which is him being jolly and happy. And I have to say, it's hard to be jolly, but I am trying. So that's kind of where I'm at. And with Christmas, it's been really tricky, because I love Christmas, and I'm always very, very stressed at Christmas. I always worry about Dad for so many different reasons. And obviously I don't have that worry this year, but instead I've got the fact that it's my first Christmas without him. And I couldn't decide, am I going to put a Christmas tree up? Am I not? Am I going to celebrate Christmas, or am I just going to ignore it this year? And of course you've got the whole pandemic thing as well. But I was like, you know what? Dad loved Christmas. He absolutely loved it. And so, I mean, ironically, it was really important to him for him to spend the day with me. And so Kev and I have always wanted to go away for Christmas, but we never have done. We've always made sure that, you know, we've seen my dad for Christmas, especially when he was on his own. But what happened with the Christmas tree is firstly I went into the range where I normally buy a couple of Christmas decorations, and I was walking around and everybody was picking out their Christmas decorations, and it just made me upset, and I left. And I was just like, I can't do it. I can't celebrate Christmas. How am I supposed to be picking out bloody Christmas decorations when my dad's not, you know? That's how I felt. And so I just left and went home, and I was like, no, that's it, I'm not going to do a Christmas tree. But I kept thinking of it. It's really weird because I keep thinking, oh, it's Christmas, I'd love to put my Christmas tree up and my Christmas decorations, and then I'm like, oh, my dad's gone, he's not going to be here, I'm not going to be able to show it. Because I loved showing my dad my tree. He loved everything glittery and sparkly and musical and, you know, that kind of thing. So it would be up and down with what was going on with Christmas. But I got my Christmas tree out eventually. I said to Kevin, no, I'm going to put the Christmas tree up. That's it, I'm going to put the Christmas tree up. I want to be festive. That'll cheer me up, you know, having sparkly things around me. And Dad would love it as well. So I got the tree, and as you'll know if you followed me on Instagram, I got the bottom half of it done. There's 3 parts to it. I got the bottom half of it done, and I was crying my eyes out, and I was like, no, I don't want this tree. I actually don't want anything that reminds me of Dad at the moment, which is really weird in a way. Like I said, I feel kind of mean. I can't look at any photos of him, and I don't want anything that reminds me of him. Well, not anything. If he's bought me special things, I'm not going to search them out and throw them out. But I mean, like, I've got rid of the doormat that I have, because I was like, Dad's feet have been on that doormat, and it said welcome, you know, and I was like, I want a different doormat. I don't know, it's a really odd thing, but Kev's brilliant. He's like, it's not odd, it's just what it is, you know. If you want a new doormat, buy a new doormat. So I did that, and I was like, you know what, Kev, I want a new tree. And he was like, that's fine, we'll get a new tree. So I immediately went and put that Christmas tree onto a Facebook page that is local, and said, does anybody want a Christmas tree for free? I said, it's still working, it's got lights on it, it's a really nice tree. Well, I got a response from a neighbour that I actually know. I've chatted to her a few times, and she was like, oh my God, can I have it? And she said, I started working for this new organisation that gives out soup bowls to people that are in need. And she said, there is a single dad, and he has a young boy, and he's desperate for a Christmas tree but can't afford one. Oh, I couldn't believe it. So she came over, she's literally in my courtyard, and I said to her, come over. I said, I'm going to give you all the decorations as well. It couldn't be more perfect. So she came over. She already knew about my dad passing, because we've both got dogs. We see each other out on dog walks. But I said to her, this could not be any better. I said, because my dad was a single dad. And I remember being with him as a single dad, obviously, because it was quite a few years he brought myself and my brother up on his own. But I also remember him telling me stories about it. And he was telling me about Christmas and how I really wanted a bike, but he couldn't afford a new bike. So he'd gone to several different scrap yards, and he's eventually found a bike frame, and then he found a wheel, and he made this whole bike up. And he told me that he had measles at the time, and his hands were really hurting him. But he got this bike, and I just thought it was the best thing ever. And he said that was all I needed, you know, was to see how happy you were on Christmas Day. And so the fact that this tree was going to a single dad because of me losing my dad, who was a single dad, it really felt like serendipity, you know. It felt like it was meant to be. And it also introduced me to this company that is now helping people. And I said to my neighbour, I was like, oh, do you think they take like old makeup and shampoos and cleansers and things that I can't find where to give them because everybody wants new stuff? I said, but these are all like tested only. It's things if I've just used it a little bit and I can't use it, or I don't want to use it because it's got fragrance in or whatever, or the colour doesn't suit me, people that are like really in need, I'm sure they would kill for that. Well, I got in touch with the company, and they've taken like a massive box from it. I've given them all sorts. I'm so happy. So yeah, that worked out really, really well. I've got a new tree. I bought all new decorations. I bought some new decorations for in the house, and it feels nice because, like I said, I'm not forgetting Dad. I know that Dad loves Christmas and he would love these. It's just not making me sad. You know, it's one less thing to look at and say, Dad's not here. Dad was here when that Christmas tree was last up. You know what I mean? I bought a bauble. I'll put a picture in for you, but it's a little see-through one with a white feather in it, and it says, "Feathers appear when Dad is near." And yeah, that's really amusing because I'm such a cynic. I'm sure I've told you this before. I'm such a cynic. But I got the bauble. Let me tell you a joke that my friend said to me. Unless somebody comes up and says to you, "Sail on, Silver Girl," you're never going to believe it. And even then, it would have to be somebody that was a complete stranger. And it is a standing joke about how cynical I am, because there's been things that I've asked of my nan that have happened that I should really believe in, but I'm like, oh, I'm sure that was just a coincidence, you know. So anyway, I put this bauble on the tree, and I was talking to Dad as I do, and I was like, well, they've not appeared though, have they, Dad? You know, I said, if feathers appear when Dad is near, you better start sending me some feathers. I said, because I haven't seen any white feathers. So anyway, I said that, and then I took Watson for a walk onto the wasteland, and there was a great big white feather. And Watson stopped. He didn't like play with the feather. We just stopped by it and was sniffing the ground, and there's this great big white feather. And I was like, and I just smiled, and I came back and I said to Kev, I told him what happened, and I said, what do you think? I said, I think it's just a coincidence, you know. And he was like, it's whatever you want it to be, you know. And then I was hoovering. There was a white feather in the hall. And then I got in the car and it came out of my coat, but there was a feather come out of my coat, and I've worn this coat for a long time, never seen a feather come out of it. A white feather came out of my coat. So I can't say that it's converted me, but I can say that it's very comforting. It's very nice, and it's making me smile. And so, Dad, if you're watching, you're making me smile. You know, if it is you, I'm sorry that I'm being so cynical, but it is making me smile. It's making me smile now. It's going to make me cry. So anyway, I bought that, and I also bought a little wooden table. See, now I don't know if I'm going to be able to just continue talking once it gets you. Yeah, I bought a little table, a little wooden seat, sorry, not table, and it said this seat is reserved for Dad, and so I've got that on the main dining table. I just thought that was cute, you know, that there's still a seat here for you kind of thing. Again, I'll put a picture in of it. I got that from Etsy, so that's really nice. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to move on now because otherwise I'll just be a wreck, and I've got a gazillion things to get on with. But it definitely does get easier, and I think from what you guys are telling me that the more time that goes on, the more I'll be able to smile about it, and smile about him, and smile at memories and things like that, you know. I think just getting this first Christmas out of the way will be difficult. We're not seeing anybody. I've basically said I don't want to see anybody. I did change my mind a bit, and I said to Kev, you know, I don't want your parents to be alone. If they're alone, if they're not going to their other children, then of course we'll have dinner with them, form a bubble, whatever. But as it happens, they're going over there for Christmas, so I'm just like, it'll just be me and him. So that's my dad. Let me update you on my health. Headaches have still been horrendous. I've got having a good day today, which is brilliant. I hope it lasts. This is the thing. I've been filming. I've been sitting at the computer, so we don't know whether this will last. We shall see. But this is the first good day in a long list of bad days. And so I was getting a bit desperate because I'm not due to have the Botox now until January. And so what I've done is I have found a chiropractor that is recommended, again by a neighbour actually. I put another post up and said, does anybody recommend a chiropractor? She went in and can barely walk with her back, and her son had daily headaches, and both are cured, if you like. And so I have managed to get an appointment, and you actually get 2 appointments. So I've got one that's a 1 hour appointment, including possible x-rays, and then another follow-up appointment. They're both next week. It's a bit of a pain. I'm gonna have to get a taxi because there's no parking where they are, but I'm really hopeful. And I think a chiropractor is a great idea for me because I know that my neck is a trigger for migraines, and so at least that's something I can try. I have gone to a chiropractor before. Years ago I went to one, and then when I was younger, when I was 17, I went to one for my neck because I've always had problems with my neck. But it's just never been something I've been able to afford a course of treatment. You know, I only ever went once, and that was it, and it did help, but it didn't help for very long. So we'll see what they recommend, and you know, I'm sure it'll be expensive, but it'll be worth it if it helps with this head. So that's where I'm at with my headaches. It's making it difficult to film and whatnot, but I'm just trying to not put too much pressure on myself. I was going to talk to you about my bladder just now, but I think I'll do that in a separate video, because I think I should stop videoing now because I can feel my neck getting sore. Try and be a bit sensible, and I'll do that in its own kind of video. So yeah, that's everything for today. If you don't see videos from me, it probably means that just the migraines are bad and I'm trying to be really sensible and not just struggle on through. You know, I'm filming today because I feel pretty good so far, versus trying to film when I'm like, oh yeah, I can feel a headache coming on, but I'm going to film anyway quickly. You know, I just don't think that kind of lifestyle is doing me any favours. So thank you so much for listening today, and I hope that you guys are all doing well, and I will speak to you again soon.